Magandang araw sa ating lahat. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Ang mga kaibigan, kapatid, kababayan ko po dito sa Malaysia, ang Filipino communities, and as well as salamat pagi or good morning sa mga Malaysian friends natin dito po sa Malaysia. Particularly ang mga Filipino communities dito po sa Sabah and very specific dito sa Kota Kinabalu City. Likewise, I would like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening kung nasan man kayo po, lahat mga overseas Filipino workers natin po sa iba-ibang parte ng mundo. And of course, same greetings also goes to ang mga senior citizens and super senior citizens natin. And wag natin kalimutan ang mga kababayan, kapatid, and kaibigan natin dyan po sa Pilipinas. Kumusta kayo? And today is Wednesday, January 28 na po. Okay, nandito kayo sa programa natin, Nick Talk, Real Talk with Nico. And dito po, you will be able to get some latest updates regarding what is happening dyan po sa Pilipinas sa programa ng Nick Talk, Real Talk with Nico. And today we'll be talking about, again, ang impeachment complaint against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos dyan po sa Pilipinas. Ano mga latest? What is the latest updates regarding this very, very important issue po and very controversial and hot issue in the Philippines. And at the same time, we are going also to touch a little bit on remember the sinking of MV Tricia Kirstine 3 dyan po sa coastal area of the municipality of Matuman, Basilan Province po. And wherein may mga fatalities po, no? And may mga actions are taken by the local authorities, particularly ang Philippine Coast Guard and ang marine authorities natin sa Pilipinas po, no? Against ang operator of this vessel, no? And I'm referring to the Zamboanga-based Allison Shipping Lines. And also, we will be touching on the issue. Another issue na naman po. Another issue na naman po sa Pilipinas na mainit. No? Mainit and very controversial po. And of course, we are afraid of the negative or domino, a negative effect of this issue po. Ang condemnation na made by our senators, majority, 15 of them po, no, supported a resolution condemning ang Chinese embassy dyan po sa Pilipinas dahil po sa issue, tungkol sa posting, posting dyan po sa social media. So ano mga epekto po? And let's touch on this thing later on. And I'm going to share with you po some of the video clips po that I have prepared. But bago tayo pupunta sa mga issue na ito po, na mainit na issue, I just want to touch on the MV3, MV Tricia Kirstine 3 sinking, which happened the other day po. No? And I was made to understand, and it was officially announced by the Philippine Coast Guard, by the local authorities in the Philippines po, that there was a suspension order, no, to Allison Shipping Lines, no. Suspended na po ang operation lahat ang mga fleet ng Allison Shipping Line, paving the way for pending for the ongoing investigation po, no. They want to see whether mayroon ba mga shortcomings on the part of Allison Shipping Lines po as one of the reasons why itong sea tragedy happened dyan po sa Basilan o sa Basilan Province po. Now, this vessel, as you all know po, is left Zamboanga City Port in the morning, around 10 o'clock in the evening. The other day, bound for Holosulu province. But unfortunately, while navigating ang ruta dyan po, passing by the municipality of Matuman in Basilan, na nalunod itong MV Tricia 3 po. And so far, I was made to understand, mayroon na lang po remaining, according to the Coast Guard, mayroon still 10 people missing po, no? 10 people missing, and ongoing rescue operation na tuloy-tuloy pa rin po dyan sa area, no? Both the authorities coming from the Basilan municipal, Basilan province, as well as ang Zamboanga Philippine Coast Guard po, no? Based sa Zamboanga City. And of course, ang national authorities natin, especially ang Marina as well as ang Philippine Coast Guard po, they are very concerned about this situation. Now, because of the suspension order, no, issued by the Philippine Coast Guard, no, na to investigate itong Allison Shipping Lines, no, following the sea tragedy po, no. And mga Filipinos dito sa Malaysia, particularly dito po sa Sabah, we have fears po, no, we have fears. And totoo naman itong fears po. Kanina, I'm trying to get some statement coming from the spokesperson sa dyan po sa Sandakan ng Allison Shipping Lines po kung what's the latest updates tungkol sa suspension of the fleet of Allison po. When we talk about suspension po, ibig sabihin, no, kasi ang Allison Shipping Line is also flying the route between Zamboanga City to Sandakan. Ang purpose ng road between Zamboanga City to Sandakan is to transport ang mga illegal Filipino immigrants from Sabah to Zamboanga po. So normally, we can see since last December hanggang this month po, medyo okay na po ang deportation exercise ng Sabah, no, sa mga Filipinos po who violated immigration laws dito po sa Sabah po. Ibig sabihin wala silang mga documents. They violated ang passport requirements ng Malaysia, no? Now ang mga relatives ng mga Filipinos who are now presently detained in the temporary deportation centers dito po sa Sabah, no? They fear that there is a big possibility that apektado na naman po ang deportation exercise ng mga Filipinos po, no? Dahil itong suspension order. Whether we like it or not po, because all the fleets, it was mentioned by the Philippine Coast Guard po, all the fleets of Allison Shipping Line temporarily suspended po, no? Temporarily suspended. Ibig sabihin that the MV Antonia 1 flying the route from Zamboanga City to Sandakan and vice versa po, suspended din po. So once we say it is also suspended, ibig sabihin po apektado ang deportation exercise ng mga illegal Filipinos from Sabah to Zamboanga City. How long will it take? We don't know po, no? Sana it will not take too long para tuloy-tuloy po ang deportation exercise ng mga Filipino. Whether we like it or not po, tuloy-tuloy ang operation ng local authorities in Sabah against undocumented foreigners, no? Undocumented foreigners here in Malaysia, particularly dito po sa Sabah. And normally, whenever we have big events, like for example, ang Christmas celebration and New Year celebration natin the other day, no? And of course, the upcoming Chinese New Year celebration scheduled on February 17 to jumpstart on February 17 po, no? It's a big event po. Normally, every year we experience that nag-intensify din po ang local authorities dito po, immigration and the police, ang operation nila against illegal or undocumented foreigners dito po, no? So, ibig sabihin po, dagdagan na naman po ang problema dyan po sa temporary deportation centers natin dito po sa Sabah dahil apektado ang deportation exercise. So yun po, that is ang apprehension, ang fear ng mga relatives ng mga Filipinos who were arrested earlier and now temporarily detained sa mga deportation centers dito po sa Sabah. Delayed po. In other words, prolong ang stay nila sa temporary detention centers sa Sabah. So I'm trying to get some updates sa officials or representative dito po sa Sabah, but as of this press time po, no, I didn't manage to be successful po, no. But anyway, I will continue to get some details and I'll make sure po na lahat itong mga updates na makuha ako po, I will be able to get from the spokesperson of Aliso Shipping Lines dito po sa Sabah o dyan po sa Sandakan po. I will immediately inform ang ating kababayan, kapatid, kaibigan dito po sa Malaysia, particularly those may mga relatives, no, who are now detained temporarily sa mga deportation centers natin sa Sabah, no? Para malalaman so that you will be able to know kung kailan talaga ang next deportation exercise sa mga Filipinos. Kawawa naman po, no? And anyway, wala tayong magawa po. See, tragedy happens and wala tayong magawa. So let's all hope and pray na itong investigation that to be carried out by the local authorities, Philippine Coast Guard authorities and Marina dyan po sa Pilipinas will not be delayed para pwede na mag-resume naman ang operation ng MV Antonia 1 po, flying the road between Zamboanga City to Sandakan to pick up ang mga sabihin natin deportees, Filipino deportees po. Alright? So, yun, that is a very important message that I would like to pass dito po sa programa natin, Nick Talk, the Real Talk with Nico. Huwag natin kalimutan po, kung pwede lang po, like, share, and follow, no? Itong programa natin, Nick Talk, the Real Talk with Nico, dyan po sa Facebook at saka sa YouTube, para at least you will be properly updated po of what is happening dyan po sa Pilipinas. Itong mga kababayan, kapatid, and kaibigan ko po dito sa Malaysia, particularly dito po sa Sabah. Alright. Now, the other issue that I would like to touch is tungkol naman po sa impeachment. Tungkol naman ito po sa impeachment of impeachment complaint against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos or Pangulong Jr., no? Na narinig natin last week. Monday, and now it's already Wednesday po, no? Just recently po, mayroon na po nag-file ng mga dalawang impeachment complaint against Pangulong Jr. and one complaint came from Attorney Andre De Jesus, and the second one, impeachment complaint coming from the Makabayan Block, no? Makabayan Block po. And nandun po, na-transmit na po from the Office of the House Secretary General, transmitted ito po sa Office of the House Speaker, and of course, already referred to the House Justice Committee po. And it means nag-trigger na po ang one-year policy bond. Ibig sabihin po, one-year policy bond, ibig sabihin po, wala nang ibang impeachment complaints can be filed sa House of Representatives po against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos po. Kasi nag-trigger na po, no? Napunta na po, it was already referred dyan po sa Justice Committee ng House of Representatives. Now, I was made to understand and it was officially announced by the local media dyan po sa Pilipinas na ang Justice Committee po will be looking into the complaint and they will scrutinize it, and at the same time, they will, sabihin natin, consolidate, no? Itong dalawang complaints po, dalawang complaints. Ang first and second. Ang third one po, hindi natuloy po, no? And ang third complaint came from the group of former Congressman Mike Defensor, but they did not push through, no? Dahil po yung first attempt nila po the other day sa office of the Secretary General po, dahil physically absent ang Secretary General si Rafael, no? Their documents were not accepted po. So, hindi na sila natuloy po. Kagaya what happened to the second complaint. But ang second complaint po, the following day po, they went back to the office of the Secretary General and filed, and the complaint was officially received by Carafil. So, yun po, dalawang impeachment complaint. So, I'll be touching on this thing po ngayon. And, I will be sharing with you po some of the video clips that I have prepared para sa ating lahat po dito sa programa natin, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. But unang-una po, let me share with you ang report, news report that coming from the Philippines po regarding the impeachment of Pangulong Junior. Pangulong Junior po, ibig sabihin, si President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. Nandito po ang report that I want to share with you po dito sa programa natin, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. Sandali po. Impeachment report. Impeachment report is 2 minutes lang ito po, no? 2 minutes lang. And watch and listen to this impeachment report that I will be sharing with you in 1 or 2 seconds from now.
Plan ng deliberasyon ng komite.
Sige, sa February 2 hanggang 4 nga target simula ng House Committee on Justice itong deliberasyon sa impeachment complaints laban kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Ayon nga yan mismo sa chairperson ng komite na si Batangas Representative Jervy Luistro. I-consolidate muna itong dalawang reklamo bago nga desisyonan ng komite kung sufficient in form and substance ang mga ito. Sabi ni Congresswoman Luistro, dito pa lang pwede nang mabasura ang impeachment complaint. Pakinggan natin itong pahayag ni Justice Committee Chairperson Jervy Luistro.
We are not supposed to proceed to the succeeding step kung hindi makakapasa dun sa standard ng sufficiency in form and sufficiency in substance. Kailangan pa rin ang committee report, but we will not be able to reach the succeeding steps.
At paano na magiging proseso na daraanan nitong impeachment complaint?
Sige, may 10 araw si Pangulong Marcos para sagutin nga yung reklamo laban sa kanya. Tutugunan naman niya ng mga complainant sa loob ng 3 araw. At kapag may sapat na grounds ang impeachment complaint, ay uusad na ang pagdinig ng komite. Dito mangyayari yung cross-examination, yung paglalabas ng mga testigo at ebidensya, at ipatatawag ang mga complainant, testigo at maging si Pangulong Marcos. Pero nasa Pangulo raw ang desisyon kung dadalo siya o hindi sa pagdinig. Dapat nga isumite ng komite yung kanilang findings at recommendations sa loob po ng 60 session days. Yan yung pagbobotohan sa plenaryo ng Kamara at 1/3 ng House plenary o nasa 106 na boto ng mga kongresista ang kailangan para tuluyan ng ma-impeach ng Kamara ang Pangulo. Mula rito ay iaakyat na ang articles of impeachment sa Senado na siyang tatayo bilang impeachment court. Sige.
Okay, klaro-klaro po, no? Yon po ang statement made by the Justice Committee ng House of Representatives, si Representative Luistro po, Jinky Luistro. Now, mayroon pa ako dito, isa pang video clip coming from Representative or Congresswoman Luistro, wherein she is explaining po ang proseso, no? Para at least malalaman natin po kung paano talaga ang proseso. Let's watch and listen to this video clip. Let's watch and listen to this video clip. Sandali po. And nandito po ang explanation ni Justice Committee Chairman, si Representative Luistro po.
And last step, tapos 3 araw for next week. But as I have said, kung kakailanganin pa ng more schedule for the purpose of determining form and substance, we will be scheduling more hearings on the succeeding week. But for the purpose of next week, we are considering February 2, 3, and 4 to be our initial hearing dates.
Ano i-expect natin sa hearing? Ano po yung proseso bukas lang po?
Well, of course, during the initial hearing, we asked the sponsors of the impeachment complaint to deliver their sponsorship speeches supporting the impeachment complaint, no? And then after that, we will be proceeding to the determination of sufficiency in form, no? Okay, ito palagi kong sinasabi during interviews because I want to walk through the Filipino people about this process, no? Meron pong 5 steps na gagawin before the Justice Committee. Step 1 is the determination of sufficiency in form. Step 2 is the determination of sufficiency in substance. Step 3, when the responsive pleadings are complete and all the evidence are submitted and we determined already that the impeachment complaint is sufficient both in form and in substance, we shall proceed to the determination of sufficient basis to support the impeachment complaint. And as our step 4, we will be conducting the hearing proper. Doon sa ating hearing proper, invite ng complainants, ang witnesses, and even the respondent. I'm also being asked, paano kung hindi dumating yung respondent? It is actually his prerogative whether to come or not to come. Because just like any other respondent, this participation during the hearing is part of the right to due process. If he will choose not to come, that will be interpreted as a waiver of his right to be present during the hearing. As our 5th and last step, tapos na yung hearing proper, right? Ang ating last step will be the determination of whether or not there is probable cause which supports our impeachment complaint. After that determination, we're supposed to submit our committee report to the plenary. And the plenary shall vote by at least 1/3 of all the members, whether approved or otherwise, yung ating committee report.
Alright, yun po, klaro-klaro po ang procedure of this Justice Committee, no? They will be undergoing regarding itong dalawang impeachment complaint against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos po. As what si Justice Committee Chairman, Representative Luistro was saying, na may 5 steps ito po, no? 5 steps po that they are going to undergo. First is that they will check ang complaints, no? Ang form, whether they comply with comply with the requirements sa form po, no? Ang mga forms, whether mayroon ba na-endorse isang congressman, no? Kung na-comply ito, then pass na ito po sa form, no? And then they will check on the substance of the complaint po, no? Kung okay ba ang may rason ba ang impeachment complaint po, ang mga grounds nila po. After that, the committee will be determining the sabihin natin ang complaint, and then they will proceed with this hearing. Hearing proper nila po. Ng Justice Committee pa lang ito po. And they will be calling also ang respondent. Ibig sabihin, si President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos will be also given the opportunity to give his side. In the event na President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos will not appear in the hearing, depende na yan po sa kanya po. No? Depende yan pwede siya, he will not appear or he will appear po. It all depends upon him po. But tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang proseso. After that, they will now determine the probable cause. No? Kung mayroon ba probable cause po. And once they identify there is such a probable cause, it will be now brought to the plenary ng House of Representatives, and the members will be voting at least 1/3 of the members. We have 360 something, slightly over 300 congressmen. So kailangan 1/3, roughly around 106, no? 106 or 107. 1/3 of that comprises 1/3 of the members approving for the complaint po. And once nakuha nila po yun, 130, 1/3 of the votes, then proceed na sila po. And subsequently, it will be brought to the Senate for further study and decision on whether there will be a impeachment trial po against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. So yun po ang proseso. Let's see po, no? Let's see. And this time, I want to share with you also po ang reaction coming from the group, the first or the second impeachment complaint po. And it is coming from a former congressman. Former congressman ba ito? Si Colmenares. Henry Colmenares po. Let's watch and listen to this po. Ang statements niya po regarding itong issue ng impeachment complaint. Let's watch and listen po ito. Saan na yun?
Sige, kumpiyansa nga itong si Bayan muna Chairperson Nery Colmenares na lulusot ang kanilang reklamo, sufficient in form and substance daw yung kanilang reklamo, sufficient in form and substance. At meron daw sapat na basehan or yung grounds nila na inilatag for impeachment. Narito yung pahayag ni dating Congressman Colmenares.
The grounds are quite strong. Any of the three committed by any impeachable official like the President is a strong ground for impeachment, for betrayal of public trust. We will win the grounds on impeachment dito sa kasong ito. Yung Malacanang, anong reaksyon dito sa impeachment complaint na ito?
Sige, bagamat nire-respeto nga raw ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos itong inihang impeachment laban sa kanya, nagbabala yung palasyo na may masama itong epekto sa bansa. Narito ang pahayag ni Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Kinagalang po ng Pangulo kung ano po ang mga activities, ginagawa at mga desisyon po ng House of Representatives. So hayaan po natin ang proseso na umanda na naaayon sa batas. Ang anumang pagsasampa ng impeachment complaint ay hindi lang ang Pangulo maapektuhan, kundi mismo ang bansa at ang ekonomiya.
Yan muna ang latest. Balik sa'yo. Sige.
Alright, yun po, narinig natin ang grupo ng second impeachment complaint po, si former Congressman Henry Colmenares. He's optimistic, he's confident na malakas ang grounds nila against ang impeachment, for the impeachment of President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. And kagaya dyan po sa video clip, we also heard ang side ng gobyerno ng Malacanang na it will not do good. It will not do good sa mga Filipinos, sa bayan ng Pilipinas po itong impeachment po. But anyway, they are going to respect ang proseso ng impeachment complaint against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos, no? About itong impeachment niya po. Let's see what will happen, no? Ako po, dito sa Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico, I will continue to closely monitor ang mga updates, no? Sa impeachment complaint kay President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. So this time around, I would like to share also another video clip po para at least kayo, ang mga viewers ko po dito sa Nick Talk, Dali Ang Talk with Nico po, you will understand, you will have a picture on ano talaga itong issue ng impeachment po. This time around, I'm going to share with you ang video clip ni isang supporter, a very strong supporter of former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, na he believes na it will not push through. It will not push through po itong impeachment complaint against Pangulong Junior or si BBM po. And I'm referring to no other than si Attorney Salvador Panelo po. And he was interviewed and asked for his comments po. And nandito, let's watch and listen carefully ang mga statements, ang salita ni Attorney Salvador Panelo po regarding the issue.
The first complaint was filed allegedly by someone who lawyered for the First Lady. So, questionable yun. And then second, yung makabayan naman daw. But the leftist has conspired with the administration party to file impeachment proceedings against Inday Sara last year, di ba? Nagkakukutsabahan sila eh. Yung third naman, kilala mo naman yung third, sila Chavez saka sila, mukhang okay din naman yun. Pero ang problema ganito, regardless of whether the complaint is valid or not, or there is an impeachable ground, although personally, I've been saying, ever since, before they even filed those complaints, that because President Marcos Jr. signed the law creating the budget of 2025 by virtue of the command responsibility, since he prepared the budget, and despite the fact that he knows that the budget he prepared under the DBM has been changed and there has been insertions, and that became the source of the corruption of such magnitude, he is therefore liable. And that is a betrayal of the public trust. Kaya noon pa, I was telling them, pwede yan. Ang problema mo lang, it will not prosper. Why will it not prosper? It's a numbers game. They control Congress. So wala rin mangyayari. Ang tingin ko dyan, yung dalawang complaint, muro-muro lang yun. Kunyari lang yun para sabihin na, bumaba na kami kay Yung pangatlo, totoo yun, talaga namang may ground. Kaya lang, wala rin mangyayari. Kasi numbers game, dismiss yan. Baka matulog yan sa Committee on Justice. But, let me say that the two complaints, the first and the second, to my mind, the persons behind this are the same persons behind the arrest, detention, and the kidnapping of the former president to the Hague. And they are the same persons who initiated the impeachment complaint. The same people who have assaulted, violated the rights of the father and daughter. Because the purpose is precisely to eliminate Inday Sara as a candidate in the 2020 because she's very strong. Destroying the Duterte father will mean mawawala ng influensya yung anak sa electorate. Kaya kailangan talaga sirain yung dalawang yun. Madali sabi, these people, like for instance, why are they filing complaint when Sara, when they know, like they filed the criminal case against Inday Sara in the Ombudsman, when they know for a fact that you cannot remove Sara through the Ombudsman, but through impeachment, madali sabi, talaga sinisiraan lang. They are subverting the democratic institutions for the underlying goal of obliterating the Dutertes in this country.
Alright, yun po ang opinion ni Attorney Salvador Panelo po tungkol sa impeachment of Pangulong Junior po, no? Sabi niya po para sa kanya, for him, this will not prosper. One reason is that these are the people who also filed involved in the kidnapping of former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. In other words, they are supporters of the Marcoses po. And sabi niya, we should not forget that the impeachment is a games of numbers ito po, no? And you look at the situation now po dyan po sa Kongreso, no? When we talk about the one-third vote, no? Kung sakali, no, dating na ito po sa plenaryo, sa House of Representatives po, they will be voting. And they required to have one-third votes coming from the 300 plus congressmen. And if you look at the situation, marami pa rin po ang mga nagsusuporta kay Marcos po. So there is a possibility na they will not approve itong impeachment complaint against Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. Sabi ni Atty. Panelo po, klarong-klaro po, this is another political strategy po to tarnish the image of Vice President Inday Sara Duterte, because whether we like it or not, even on the previous or just recent survey po, talking about the 2028 presidential election po, si Inday Sara Duterte po still leading pa din po, no? Ang dami pa rin ng mga Filipinos who support Inday Sara Duterte to be the next president of the Philippines. Yun po, no? Sa palagay ninyo po, may puntos ba si Atty. Salvador Panelo po or what? Kayo nang bahala, no? I'm just passing itong mga informations natin po na nakuha ko po dyan sa Pilipinas, and for you to, depende na sa inyo po whether ang mga opinion ninyo po, no? Depende sa mga opinion ninyo. So, ang next video clip that I'm going to share with you po ay ito po, no? Briefly lang ito po, kay Atty. Salvador Panelo.
Magkaroon pa ng panibagong complaint, wala rin mangyayari dyan. Unang-una, kagaya niyan, di ba, ganyan na ganyan na yung nangyari, 4 na complaints, na-dismiss, they didn't follow the law. Kaya dinismiss ang Korte Suprema. Ngayon mukhang ito na naman, deja vu na naman tayo. Okay, walang mangyayari dyan. Sa tingin ko, balat kayo lahat dyan, except for the 3rd complaint.
Yun po, bahat kayong lahat. Ang problema dyan po, ang 3rd complaint, yung grupo nila, former Governor Chavit, sila former Congressman Mike Defensor po, hindi natuloy. No? Yun sana po, no? Sabi nila, yun sana po, kasi ang grounds ng complaint po, malakas na malakas po. But I don't know what happened. Ang grupo ni Chavit at saka ni Mike Defensor po, no? They decided not to push through on the 11th hour po. Dahil what happened, ang first attempt nila po to bring the complaints dyan po sa office, House Secretary General Office po kay Garafil, no? And according to former Congressman Mike Defensor, parehas din po ang way of thinking nila, niya at saka kay Atty. Salvador Panelo po, na it will not prosper. It will not prosper po dahil karamihan pa rin ang miyembro ng Kongreso po, no, are supporters of President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. So yon po, no? Yon ang sitwasyon ngayon dyan po sa impeachment campaign against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos, and ang Justice Committee will start ang trabaho nila po sa February 3 and 4. Tingnan natin po kung May puntos ba? Correct ba ang sinasabi ni Attorney Salvador Panelo? And ang grupo ni former Congressman Mike Defensor po na it will not prosper. Sa totoo lang po, dito sa Malaysia po, no? Dito sa Malaysia, ang Filipino communities dito po sa Sabah, based on mga chismis-chismis, haka-haka po ang feelings ng mga Filipino communities dito po. Out of 10, 8 are saying na mahirap i-prosper itong this impeachment complaint against Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos for obvious reasons po na there are still a lot of congressmen who is backing up itong presidente natin si Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. As what si Attorney Panelo was saying, moro-moro lang ito po, no? Moro-moro lang itong impeachment complaint against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. So yan po, no? Kayo nang bahala po. Anong opinion ninyo? Ang reaction ninyo po, ang mga followers ko dito sa Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico, I will leave it to you po, no? If you ask me po, my personal opinion, ako rin po, I believe na nothing will happen. Nothing will happen po. Siguro there is a big possibility kung natuloy ang third complaint po. But based on the first and second complaint, wala akong kumpiyansa, no? That matuloy to. Even though it will tuloy itong hearing po, at the end of the impeachment trial po, I think po, wala mangyari po kay President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. But let's see po, kung sakali matuloy ito, it will pass dyan po sa House of Representatives. And it will push para sa Senado po. We will see po. Because now, ang composition ng Senado po, I think we have 9 minority members, minority bloc. And the rest are majority. No? But 9 is very crucial ito po. It's just a matter of another 1, 2, or 3 po, no? Who can change ang sabihin natin ang sitwasyon dyan po sa Senado. But these are all speculations and let us see po, no? I will continue to monitor closely ang mga developments dyan po sa impeachment, and kung sakali mayroon mga updates tayo po, I will make sure that you will be properly informed. Lahat kayo po, ang mga followers natin dito sa Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. Okay, ang final topic natin na ngayon po is about itong another gulo natin po dyan sa Pilipinas po, no? It is between China and Philippines sa West Philippine Sea po, no? And kahapon narinig natin po, no, sa session ng Senado po, no, a total of 15 senators, they supported ang resolution po, ang resolution na condemning ang Chinese ambassador sa Pilipinas po, ang remarks nila po tungkol itong sabihin natin na issue between China and Philippines. Diyan po ba sa West Philippine Sea po, no? Itong issue. And it all started from Commodore J. Tariola, no? Wherein he came out sa social media. He came out sa social media po ang caricature, no? Ang cartoon ng presidente ng China po. And nag-response ang Chinese embassy dyan po sa Pilipinas. And hindi masaya ang mga senador. That's why they passed this resolution po condemning po ang sabihin natin ang reaction, remarks made by the Chinese ambassador po, no? By the Chinese ambassador. Mayroon tayo dito mga video clips and I'm going to share with you po. But bago siguro I will share with you itong video clip. Siguro let me share with you po, no? Let me share with you po ang balita talaga po, no? Tungkol itong issue tungkol itong issue po, no? And mayroon tayo dito, no? News article coming from the Philippine Star. 15 senators unite, condemn Chinese embassy's remarks against Philippine officials. Against Philippine officials po. Yon po ang title ng news article po. Today ito lumabas sa mga dyaryo dyan po sa Pilipinas. And nandito po, 15 senators from both the majority and minority blocs have united behind a resolution condemning officials of the Chinese embassy for castigating Philippine officials over the West Philippine Sea issue or WPS issue. Senate Resolution number 256 was filed by Senator Francis Pangilinan, Senate President Vicente Soto III, Senate President Pro Tem Manfilo Lacson, Majority Leader Juan Miguel Zubiri, Senator Erwin Tulfo, Risa Ontiveros, Rafi Tulfo, Sherwin Gatchalian, Loren Legarda, J.V. Ejercito, Bam Aquino, Camille Villar, Mark Villar, Lito Lapid, and Jinggoy Estrada. In their resolution, the senators condemned the Chinese embassy for improperly criticizing Philippine officials or institutions for actions undertaken in the performance of their official duties, as these are contrary to accepted standards of diplomatic conduct and mutual respect between states. The senators who did not sign the resolutions were all from the majority bloc, no? And sino-sino ito po? Hindi nag-sign ang resolution. This includes Minority Leader Alan Peter Cayetano, Deputy Minority Leader Rodante Marcoleta, and Joel Villanueva, Francis Escudero, Aimee Marcos, Ronald De La Rosa, Robin Padilla, and Bong Go. Senator Pia Cayetano, a member of the majority, also did not sign the resolution. Last week, the Department of Asian Affairs of Beijing's Foreign Ministry summoned Philippine Ambassador Jaime Flor Cruz to express displeasure over statements of Philippine Coast Guard PCG spokesperson for WPS issues, Commodore J. Tariala. Ito talaga po, nag-umpisa ang itong gulo-gulo po dahil sa posting sa social media si Commodore J. Tariala. Also, chastised by Beijing where Pangilinan, mamayang Liberal Party Representative Laila De Lima, Philippine Navy spokesperson Rear Admiral Roy Vicente Trinidad, and the National Marine Council. During the Senate session last Monday, January 26, Ontiveros delivered a privileged speech condemning the Chinese embassy and reminding it that foreign missions are guests, not arbiters of our democracy. Where are the Philippines? We are in the Philippines, not in China. This is the Philippines and we are in democracy, Ontiveros said. Responding to Ontiveros' speech, Tulfo also lambasted the Chinese embassy and warned, if you do not like how democracy works in this country, then you are free to leave the Philippines. Get the fuck out. Yan po sabi ni Erwin Tulfo. Government officials have full backing of President Bongbong Marcos in defending the country's rights and interests in the face of Beijing's castigating them for speaking out on West Philippine Sea issues. Yan po sabi ang Malacanang. Yan po ang issue ngayon po, no? Yan ang issue ngayon po. Later on, I'll be touching a little bit on this issue. And in the meantime, let me share with you po itong session sa Senado po, wherein nag-usap between si Senator Riza Ontiveros and si Senator Rodante Marcoleta regarding the issue. But before that po, let me share with you itong picture po, no? This is the reason behind ang passing of the resolution po, no? Condemning ang Philippine Embassy. Ito po, this is it po. Issued by or posted by si Commodore J. Tariala, no? Ito po, nakita ninyo po, no? Ang cartoon he posted po, no? Ang presidente ng China po, which na-offend din po ang China, no? This is the reason behind na nagiging hot issue po, no? So, akon ba kayo? Okay ba kayo po this kind of posting po or hindi? No? Is it important to post this kind of pictures po sa social media or not? Kayo nang bahala po. So, yun po ang rason talaga po ngayon why nag-pass itong ang resolution. Bakit 15 senators natin po dyan po sa Pilipinas galit na galit sa Chinese ambassador dyan po sa Pilipinas. Anyway, nandito, let me share with you po ang sabihin natin ano ito? Ang sandali po ha, saan na yun? Between Marcoleta and Senator Riza. Nandito po. Let's watch and listen to this.
Unang misinterpretation, lalo pang lalo. Si Ginoong Tariela po ba ang ating opisyal na tagapagsalita kung pag-uusapan ay ang relasyon ng ating bansa sa ibang mga bansa, particular na yung China?
Si Commodore Tariela ay spokesperson ng Task Force West Philippine Sea na binuo po batay sa polisiya ng buong gobyerno natin ng whole of government approach sa ganitong kahalagang usapin ng foreign policy.
Ang Transparency Initiative po, Mr. President, ay tinatawag na assertive transparency or measured transparency. Ano po ba ang pagkakaintindi ninyo sa assertive transparency or measured transparency, Mr. President?
Pagkaintindi ko po, Mr. President, ang assertive transparency ay ibig sabihin, isa sa publiko, lahat ng mga importanteng engagement sa pagitan ng ating bansa at iba pang mga bansa.
Kasi kung binanggit, Mr. President, ay napapaloob dun sa definition ng assertive transparency. Ngunit kung inyo pong isasalang-alang, Mr. President, yung assertive transparency, ito po yung merong strategic objective. Ibig sabihin, meron pong kaakibat na responsibilidad na maiwasan natin ang hindi pagkakaunawaan. Kasi pag nagkaroon po ng misinterpretation, lalo pong lalala ang isang maliit na problema. Nasasabi po ba natin na si Ginoong Tariela ay nakikipag-coordinate sa bawat salitang bibitawan niya sa publiko, lalong-lalo na yung sinasabi niya na kailangan informahan ng public. Kiniklear po niya kaya ito sa Department of Foreign Affairs, kayong ito ang official organ ng ating pamahalaan.
Opo, nananalig ako na nagko-coordinate si Commodore Tariela, nagko-coordinate ang buong National Task Force on the West Philippine Sea sa lahat ng mga departamento na bumubuo at gumagabay sa kanila, lalo na ang Department of Foreign Affairs.
Ako nyo nakausap ko ang mismo ang Secretary of the Department of Foreign Affairs. Hindi po siya nakikipagkonsulta.
Alright, yun po. Narinig natin po, no? Between Senator Riza and si Senator Rodante Marcoleta po, no? So, yun ang issue po. Yun ang issue ngayon. dyan sa Pilipinas. It is a hot issue po. So, mayroon pa isang video clip that I want to share with you po. Wherein si Senator or Senate President Vicente Soto po, si Tito Soto po, also mentioned about persona non grata sa mga Chinese embassy. Let's watch and listen to this. And then later on po, let's touch a little bit itong issue na ito po. Let's watch first itong statement made by ang report regarding itong persona non grata po sa mga Chinese officials ng embahada dyan sa Pilipinas.
Sunshine Radio. Senate President Soto nais ideklarang persona non grata ang ilang opisyal ng Chinese Embassy. Si Troy Gomez sa detalye ng balita. Troy!
Nanawagan ni Senate President Vicente Soto III sa Senate Committee on Rules na pag-aralan ang posibilidad na ideklarang persona non grata ang ilang opisyal ng Chinese ang ipagtanggol ang dignidad at soberanya ng bansa alinsunod sa international law. Para sa Diyos at sa Pilipinas kumaan, Troy Gomez sa bulan ka partner mo, pabaliktad sa Revisyo.
Yon po, si Tito Soto, ang Senate President natin dyan po sa Senado, also called for the persona non grata sa mga opisyales ng embahada ng China, ng China po, no? Call for persona non grata to all the Chinese officials of the embassy in the Philippines po. So yon ang issue. That's the issue ngayon po, no? All right, let's talk about itong issue po. I received some messages and some calls coming from the Filipino communities dito po sa Sabah, and many were saying, yeah, nasaktan din sila po, no? On what is happening dyan po sa Pilipinas between China and the Philippines po, no? But may mga apprehensions din sila po. Bilang isang Filipino, ako mismo po, bilang isang Filipino po, nasaktan din ako po ang mga remarks made by the Chinese officials, no? Kasi we have to protect ang nation natin po. We are not for nothing. Filipinos are not for nothing po. Nasaktan din tayo po, no? But the apprehensions na po, mayroon din tayong mga apprehensions po. What will happen if this will continue, ang conflict between China and Philippines po? Hindi ba? Hindi ba po? Ang resulta dyan po, more Filipinos will be affected. Ang daily lives natin po. Hindi lang ang mga Filipinos po, but also ang bayan natin po. No? Why do I say that? Why do I say this po? Because we look at it. Let's be very practical po ngayon. Let's not talk about superpowers na po, no? Let's talk about very very practical issue po, ang ekonomiya, ang ekonomiya ng Pilipinas. Ang buhay ng mga Filipinos po. Now, if this will continue to happen po, no? We will not be able to find a solution, diplomatic solution po, no? Now, let us remember, malaki ang tulong ang China sa Pilipinas po when it comes to economy ng Pilipinas po, no? When it comes to the economy of the Philippines. Malaki ang tulong. What will happen if China will make a decision that they are not going to financially or in terms of investments po, they will cut itong import-export ties between Philippines and China. Hindi ba ang mga Filipinos will be affected? No? Ang mga prutas natin po, no? If you look at it, ang mga prutas natin, we send our vegetables, fruits, or whatever we have, raw materials in the Philippines po. Now we are also sending it, we are selling it to China. What if China will not accept it anymore? Paano na po ang buhay ng mga Filipinos po? No? Paano na ang buhay ng mga Filipinos po? Because of a very small issue, no? A very, very small issue po, ang posting ng Commodore J. Tariela, no? But in fact, itong issue po, you can solve this po through diplomatic ways po, no? Between not the dyan po sa social media, mga posting po, no? In fact, ito po should be brought to the Department of Foreign Affairs, and Department of Foreign Affairs through diplomatic ways po will communicate with the China government. China government po. As what sabi ni Senator Dante Marcoleta when he asked kung may coordination ba ito si Commodore J. Tariela dyan po sa Department of Foreign Affairs for making such statements, no? Or posting sa this kind of posting. According to Senator Rodante Marcoleta po, yun na nga ang problema, sabi daw ang Department of Foreign Affairs, no? So ito ang problema natin po. What will happen if all these things, they will not be sending, we will no longer have ties between, economic ties between China and the Philippines. Ang dami po mga Filipinos po will suffer. One example lang po, yun ang mga goods natin po, no? Agricultural goods that we are bringing dyan po sa China. We are selling, no? Malaking tulong yung sa mga Filipinos po. But if they will cut this thing po, what will happen? What will happen ang mga donations ng China sa atin po, no? Infrastructure, so forth and so on po. What will happen po? Kawawa ang Pilipino. At the moment we look at the Philippines now po, in terms of the economy po, affected na tayo po, no? Dahil sa corruption natin, ang problema natin, lahat-lahat na po. And dagdagan pa natin itong problema. Sana lang po, no? I hope and pray that ang Department of Foreign Affairs natin po will be able to diplomatically solve this problem po. Remember po, there was, correct me if I'm wrong, there was yun Scarborough Shoal na we had problems before between China and the Philippines. Ang sending provisions ang Pilipinas dyan po sa Scarborough Shoal po, sa barko natin po, no? May mga insidente na naputol ang dali ng isang sundalo natin po. Diba? Yun nangyari po. Diba? But, ang Department of Foreign Affairs, ang gobyerno natin during the time of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, no? Instead of aggravating itong issue po, they decided to go and talk to China. And nasolve tayo ang problema. China allowed ang sending of provisions sa mga sundalo natin po dyan sa barko sa Scarborough Shore. See? So it's just a matter of talking. Talking po. Let our authorities concerned, department concerns po, to deal with this issue with China. Hindi ang Commodore J. Tariola. Yeah, I feel, bilang isang Filipino, ako din po, I feel offended. No? But feeling offended is one thing. Offended na tayo, but there are still many ways on how to solve this problem po. Hindi sa social media. For me, it's not the venue, no? Putting out this kind of posting sa social media po. It is just aggravating. Ang problema po, a small problem, you are making it big. Yung para sa akin po. Definitely, 100% po, I am offended. I am against. But, ang solution po is not what they did si Commodore J. Tariola po, is not the solution po. It's not the answer to the problem. No? Ang Department of Foreign Affairs po will solve this problem po with China. Hindi through social media po. That's how I look at it. I hope I'm wrong. No? But this is my personal opinion po. Tingnan natin po. Ano nangyari sa Pilipinas 2025? Another example. Ang tourist arrivals po. Noon, we are happy to hear during the time of President Ferdinand or President Rodrigo Roa Duterte or si Tatay Digong po. The number of Chinese tourists po, nag-akyat po. Ang daming mga Chinese went to Philippines for holiday making po. Pero ngayon, what happened? Wala na po. Kunti na lang po. Sayang ang mga steps taken by the Philippine government na free visa na ang mga Chinese to go to the Philippines po. Noon, itong problema po, nahirapan ang mga Chinese nationals, Chinese holiday makers po, to go to the Philippines dahil stricto ang requirements, visa requirement imposed by the Philippine government. Hanggang may mga scam na yun po noon. I should remember those days. No? Ngayon, visa-free na po. Visa-free na po ang mga Chinese to go to the Philippines po. But do they come to the Philippines? No. Now, we are trying to do, ang gobyerno natin, ang tourism department natin po, they are trying to do everything po to increase the number of foreign arrivals sa Pilipinas po, no? Now, but with this kind of problema we are facing now po, do you think, what if the Chinese government will say, call the people not to go to Philippines? Apektado na naman po ang tourism industry natin po. And hindi lang yan po. What kung magalit talaga ang China? We must remember we have, if I'm not mistaken, based on the reports that I'm receiving, we have more than 500,000 Filipino overseas workers working in China, Macau, Hong Kong, mainland China po. Now, what if the Chinese government will say, all right, alis kayo dito? What will happen? Ang mga overseas Filipino workers mo. Dahil lang sa isang maliit na problema, apektado talaga ang Pilipinas. Look what happened to other countries. Let's say, talk about Malaysia po. Wala nga tayong problema po sa China. In fact, ang Malaysia is working together with China because they know China, malaking tulong yun po when it comes to the economy of Malaysia. Economy sa Vietnam, economy sa Cambodia, even ang Indonesia po. Bakit tayo? Because of, I feel hurt, no? Ang mga remarks ng China po. Kasi Filipino ako. But what I'm concerned is more on find the best solution po that it will not affect ang Pilipinas po. Ang Pilipinas. Ang mga buhay ng mga Filipino. This is the thing that I am really concerned. So sana lang po, no? Sana lang po we will be able to solve this problem. No? Persona non grata, mabigat din yun po, di ba? No? Condemning, passing a resolution. No? Grabe, no? And let me share with you itong, I don't know if you will agree with me po, pero depende na sa inyo po. Depende na sa inyo. No? How would you take this statement made by Senator Erwin Tulfo?
You do not like, let me say this then, Mr. President. If you do not like how democracy works in this country, then you are free to leave the Philippines. Get out. Mr. President, kung hindi nila gusto kung paano gumagana ang demokrasya sa ating bansa, malinaw po ang sagot. Layas. Let me say this then, Mr. President.
Yun po. Okay, let me play again po. No? Let me play again.
You do not like, let me say this then, Mr. President.
Malina po ang sagot, layas. Ganon lang yun po. Senator Erwin Tulfo, if something happens, ang decision ng China will ban itong mga what we're enjoying now from China po, you will not be badly affected. Ang apektado dyan po, ang mga Filipinos po, kagaya namin. Ang mga farmers natin po. Kayo hindi. You will not be affected. Too much affected lang. Kasi mayaman na kayo po. Pero paano na po ang mga Filipinos, ordinaryong Filipino? We will be affected. Badly affected po. No? Yan po ang fear ko po. No? Ang fear ko. In fact, I'm still very hopeful, optimistic po, na itong klaseng problema, ang Department of Foreign Affairs natin po, can easily talk to China. You know, China knows that they also need Philippines. And Philippines knows that we also need China. No? Kaya sa mga iba-ibang nation. Ang America knows that they also need China because of investment reasons. And China also knows that they also need United States of America. And same thing goes to other countries po, like Malaysia. But what is important is talk and find the best solution. Yun lang sa akin. Yun lang sa akin po. That's how I look at the situation. Kayo po, how do you look at the situation? Worried ako po. Ang dami na tayong problema. Sira na nga ang pangalan natin tungkol sa corruption sa Pilipinas. Investors doesn't want to come to the Philippines because of ito na po, corruption. That is the fear also of the minority bloc. No? Minority bloc. Sila Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, sila Rodante Marcoleta, Ruben Padilla, si Amy Marcos, si Bongo, si Senator De La Rosa, no? Sino pa ba yung mga 9 minority bloc members? Lahat sila po. They are all Filipinos, I'm sure. They are also offended. But they did not like the idea, or they do not agree the idea of passing a resolution. Baka it will aggravate ang sitwasyon po. And once the situation will be aggravated, then there is a big fear, sila, na baka it will boomerang. Ang negative, ang domino effect, will be felt by the Filipinos. So, yun po. So, siguro hanggang dito na lang muna ang programa natin, Talk with Nico. And let's just hope and pray na all these problems that we are facing po ngayon sa Pilipinas po, as soon as possible, if not too soon po, we will be able to solve this problem. Para at least po, no? At least, ma-move on na po ang Pilipinas. Para at least, ang living standard of the Filipinas po will be level up also po, no? If we only follow our emotions po, no? Palagi na lang sa emotion natin po, we follow our emotions po, no? It will not help solve the problem po. No? It will not solve problem. So there must be a compromise. For me, that's how I look at it. So with this, si Nico Fabiano, once again, would like to say thank you very much for making me a part of your day today. I hope po, maski paano po, whatever I shared with you sa programa natin ngayon po, is Wednesday, January 28 na po. No? I hope it helped in one way or the other, enlighten po ang way of thinking natin po sa Pilipinas, ang problema sa Pilipinas. So, dito na po, si Nico Fabian would like to say again and again, Malaysia, Sabah, the Philippines, God bless us all. Magandang araw sa ating lahat po. And let's look forward for a better tomorrow, a better future for the Philippines and for Malaysia and for the world. Nico, I'll see you again in my next episode. Bye, and I love you all.